Right, cool facts about Shakespeare. Okay, so we don't actually know when Shakespeare was born. And his death date was 26 April 1616, right? But his death date, even people say his death date's a bit suspicious. They don't really believe it. It's loads of debated. It was debated a lot, right? But what we do know is he was baptised on 26 April 1564. I think the 26th of April of when he died is actually his birthday as well. He is dead, yeah, he's been dead a long time. Right, so he was buried where he was baptised on Stratford-upon-Avon Town Centre to Trinity Church, although his head is missing. He does not have a skull, just his body. The theory for that is that there's loads of different theories, right? Like loads of weird theories, like, I don't know, his head is really valuable, or it's someone else ate it or something to try and digest his like talents. But basically what they actually think happened is just 200 odd years ago, archaeologists just stole it as like a trophy. There's loads of other theories that he was like buried standing up and buried in weird ways, but from what I could see, a lot of people are calling each other liars, which you will find when you Google a lot about Shakespeare. He's buried, but he has no head. When William Shakespeare died, he famously left his wife Anne Hathaway, not the actor, but his wife was called Anne Hathaway. I'm assuming Anne was named after her. She famously left Anne only one thing, their second best bed. So in those days, their second best bed, it didn't mean he had a bed. Their second best bed was the bed usually that the married couple slept in, and the first bed was the guest bed, from what I could find. But obviously people quote that a lot, saying he only left her his second best bed just because he's a prick. Oh, you can also see in this image, he also wore an earring a lot. He had an earring in his ear. I didn't notice that. You always see him with an earring, but yeah, he cut about. He lived in London as a young bloke, and he always wore that ring earring, hence why it's in the photo. Nice, Anne Hathaway. Didn't he die on 23rd of April? See, it's happening already. A lot of people are saying he died on certain days. I'm pretty sure a lot of this, right, so a lot of this text that I'm doing is like, I'll Google it and I'll copy it. I've not wrote a lot of it. Some of it, I've paraphrased a lot of it, sorry, but a lot of it is either paraphrased or like put in chunks. You have that debated. Between about 1519, 1613, Shakespeare wrote at least 37 plays and collaborated on several more. So the thing about people say about Shakespeare, I said growing up a lot, I was like, no way did he write all that. That is mental. There is just so much. Did I actually write how much? I think on the second slide. Oh yeah, 38 plays. So that, at least 37, this fact's saying 38 plays, 154 sonnets, and 2 narratives, right? So he wrote a lot. What's likely that actually happened was he collaborated in a lot of them, and he probably had a lot of people writing certain parts for him, okay? Yeah, there's like, back in those days, copyright didn't exist, which I've also listed later. Copyright was not a thing, so you could literally, there was like a whole trade on just stealing each other's work and claiming it as your own, right? There was no laws to protect copywriters. Playwrights got fucked over massively. There are lots of theories, I didn't put them in, but there are lots of theories that Shakespeare only wrote like a very, very small amount of his plays and people just used his pen name. There are lots of theories saying that it was women that wrote a lot of his plays and his sonnets. But because they weren't allowed to publish work, that they used his pen name and stuff like this. There's loads of theories about who could have been his ghostwriter. It is known though he did collaborate on a lot of his stuff. And a lot of his stuff was, a lot of his plays to this day aren't exactly how he wrote them back then. They've been adapted, they've been edited, they've been changed little bits here and there. Shakespeare married his wife Anne Hathaway when he was 18. She was 26 and 3 months pregnant with Shakespeare's child when they married. Their first child, Susanna, was born 6 months after their wedding. So when I first found this fact, it was written as in someone wrote, Shakespeare married a pure old pregnant lady when he was super young. No, he didn't. It was his child she was pregnant with. He was just a few years younger, but obviously back in those days, that was deemed as unusual. The reason I say remember this fact is because when we talk about sonnets at the end of the stream, and Shakespeare wrote his sonnets, famously believed to write the first large majority of his sonnets about a young man. And then for like the last 20 or so, they were about an older woman. And he was very different in tone about how he spoke about the young man and the older woman. Basically, he was like, the young man was like, oh my God, like eternal sunshine, like everything beautiful, like sunshine, rainbows and all that. And then the older woman, he was a bit more tongue-in-cheek, blunt, and you'll see what I mean. But anyway, I don't know if that was about his wife at the time, or some people say it wasn't really about anyone. He was just trying to write what was popular and what people would like. His only granddaughter, Elizabeth, daughter of Susanna, died childless in 1617. So because of this, there are no descendants of Shakespeare, right? There's no descendants. I don't actually know who owns. Nobody owns his stuff. Like his plays and stuff are free to use. But I don't. Is there any? The Globe and stuff. Shakespeare built the Globe in London. Shakespeare built that. That was his theatre. Hence why it's called the Shakespeare Globe, and it just does Shakespeare plays. What are the sonnets? Ben, we'll get to that. That's like way at the end of the stream. So if you don't want to see any of the play stuff, you can come back. Is it super bright here? Hold on. It's not that bright. Anne Hathaway's older than me too, and I'd happily marry her too, to be fair. Scooter owns the Globe. Either of them enjoy cash. Right, no false facts, please, because that's how we get banned. I don't want any fake facts on the stream. Some of this, I don't mean fake, some of these might be bullshit. Like I said, it's all very highly debatable, but Scooter owning the Shakespeare Globe is 100% a lie. So get that to fuck. Right, next. Why was Shakespeare's stuff so popular? So if you learn Shakespeare in school, I remember thinking, why have we get Shakespeare lessons? It's the most boring thing ever. I'm about 10, I hate it, I don't get it. You did learn it quite young. What age were you guys when you learned Shakespeare? It was in primary, right, at least? Or was it first year of high school? I think you touched on some stuff in primary, I can't remember. The reason that, I didn't realise until reading about this, but the reason why you learn it young, obviously there's a multitude of reasons, right? That his English was like some of the richest English ever written. He is famous for creating so many different language styles, like poetry, innovator. He came up with so many terms and expressions that we still use today. He's super famous, but also a lot of his plays were written with very young protagonists. They were centered around young people, right? And I realised that reason for this is just my take, is in a lot of his plays, there's a lot of very young, impressionable people. I don't know why I've got some tape in my hand. A lot of young, impressionable people who fell in love very quickly, like Romeo and Juliet. I think Romeo saw Juliet for like half an hour and he was like, oh my god, marry me, right? It was a bit of a narcissist, to be fair. But a lot of young people and a lot of very easily manipulated people, right? There's a lot of manipulation in Shakespeare's plays for like older people, or people kind of background characters who tend to manipulate the young in the forefront. So yeah, that's probably why you learn it young. He is known as one of the best English language writers, and he's introduced innovative ideas to novels, plays, dramas, and changed how the word is poetry. Shakespeare is still relevant because his work shows what it is to be human, bringing forth timeless themes of humanity. Isn't there a theory? There's a theory, I'm sure, where Shakespeare, they say Shakespeare created like every story, and all his stories just get reused and reused, kind of, or adapted differently, right? Is there not something that, like, I didn't really look like into that much because I don't know, but they say Shakespeare's plays cover like almost a large portion of storytelling and how stories are told today. So you get the comedies, the tragedies, and just different ways they're depicted. There are theories there are only 7 stories or so. I've heard that, but I've also heard it being debunked, right? But people use kind of his structure a lot. They inspire Romeo and Juliet. Ha ha ha. Anyway, Shakespeare is especially relevant for young adults, as many of his works focus on young adult protagonists. We just spoke about. Shakespeare is England's most celebrated dramatist and poet. His works have been translated into 80 languages, including Star Trek's Klingon. I don't know why. Why would you translate Shakespeare into Klingon? Do people actually cut about and talk about, like, have that as their main? Do people use Klingon as their main language? But anyway, I thought that was a cool fact. He's helped shape English we use today, introducing up to 300 words and dozens of well-known phrases. Phrases that we still use today. Can anyone think of any Shakespeare phrases that we still use today that are Shakespeare? Does anyone know any? Fix the green screen. What's up with the green screen? The green screen looks good in my end. Doesn't he look like the guy from Peep Show? I think it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. Is it supposed to be him for Shakespeare? No, that's supposed to be Shakespeare, by the way. Hi, Phoenix. How are you? Pound of Flesh. Oh yeah, from Merchant of Venice. So Portia in Merchant of Venice takes a pound of flesh. And yeah, we use pound of flesh. How do we use pound of flesh? I'm pretty sure we just say it. Anything else? There's a method to the madness as a Shakespeare coined phrase. Ah, that's a good one. David Mitchell, yeah, looks like him. I don't think it is actually supposed to be him. Green-eyed monster. Klingon only in Aberdeen. What? The Klingon Star Trek. Wear my heart upon my sleeve is also a Shakespeare phrase. Is it? I get that said about me. I didn't know that, but that makes sense. So wear your heart upon your sleeve usually means that you're very expressive about, you're very vulnerable about who you love and quick to I'm not like that at all. Who the fuck said that? But someone kind of like Romeo, right? And Romeo and Juliet. Not afraid to basically show his love. To be or not to be. Do people actually use that? I mean, I think people ironically say to be or not to be, knowing full well or wanting to everyone to be aware that they are reciting Shakespeare, right? To be or not to be, that's the question. Ha 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 ha, Shakespeare. It's kind of like that. But killing two birds with one stone is not birds. Did they get changed to birds? Was it originally two birds? No fake facts. That better be accurate. Greenstein isn't okay. Oh shit, you're right, sorry. Ow! Fuck, I just kicked it. Oh! Why'd you get me do that? I just kicked the bottom of it. Right. Hold on. I'll try and move it forward in front of the radiator and see if that helps. Oh crap, that's made it worse. How did that happen? Maybe if I move it back. How about that? Do you know what I'll do? Fuck. See? And the camera's balancing because I couldn't get the camera to stay properly, so it's actually like legit balancing. Okay, do you know what I'll do? I'll just cut this. It just means I don't have a lot of space, but it's fine. Right. Are we okay now? Right. Can you not just zoom in a bit? No, because then you'll see my pores. Right. So what else? Where were we? Oh yeah, okay, so Shakespeare did a lot of phrases and stuff, it was cool. But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? Is it the east and the toasty sun? Yeah, so you do, even these phrases are so well known they get brought up a lot. I don't think anyone actually says, but soft, what light through yonder window breaks? Like, seriously, for Romeo and Juliet? If they might, that's cool. But yeah, stuff like that, double, double, toil and trouble. Obviously, is a very famous phrase. A lot of people know that, I know that. I don't know how I knew that, I remember just knowing that very young. It gets said a lot. Shakespeare updated the simplistic two-dimensional writing style of pre-Renaissance drama. He focused on creating human characters with psychological complexity. So before Shakespeare, they say Shakespeare was Elizabethan writer, right? But he was technically Jacobean because most of his works were done after Elizabeth died. Queen Elizabeth died. But before him, it was the Renaissance, it was Renaissance type plays and stuff that were the main thing. And they were very simple, very stereotypical characters. Characters didn't have much depth. The plots were very basic. So basically, Shakespeare just came in like with a cool new edgy style and made it very complex and mixed comedies with also dark humour and things like that. Hadn't really done before, which we'll talk about. Any questions? Oh, I say any questions before I go on to the next slide. I can use my backcomb brush. Any questions about what is here? Hamlet is a really good play if you like characters. But I've actually never seen Hamlet. I was tempted to read it and watch it before this, but then I was like, that's way too much work. He wrote Henry V totally to keep Liz happy. So we'll be talking about that a lot at the end of War of Roses. I like it because they all die. What's Shakespeare's favourite colour? I actually don't know. Probably gold because he was minted and he wore a gold earring, but that's just a complete guess. If you've seen Lion King, you've basically seen Hamlet. I've heard that again back in the theory that a lot of like storytelling today is copying the structure of Shakespeare's plays. But there you go. So Shakespeare and theatre. So here's an inside of the Globe. That's the Globe Theatre in London. And then that's another kind of, I'll get out the way. That's another kind of diagram of what it looks like inside. It's obviously famous because it's round and the, what's it called? No, I can't. I forgot the actual name of the style of theatre. But basically, you go in and you sit. It's round. I've never been. I'd love to be. I've almost went a few times there and I got cancelled for some reason and I couldn't get tickets. But it's meant to be a really good day. So theatres were open air and used natural lights, hence why they were outside. Without the advanced technology of artificial light, most plays were performed not in the evening as they are today, but rather in the afternoon or during the daylight. Furthermore, plays during that era used very little scenery and few, if any, props. So very basic set, as you can see here. Really nothing on the set. To this day, it still gets debated a lot. Like if critics, if they go to see a Shakespeare play and they see the play using a lot of props, they tend to criticise it a lot. I like props. If it's easy, right? It's like pictures in a book. But they should be very basic. Even what we'll talk about later is one of Shakespeare's most famous lines in his plays is that a dagger that I see before me thy handle towards thy hand. And that's in Macbeth when he sees a dagger floating and he's about to kill Duncan. And a lot of stage adaptations suspend a dagger in the air for a bit of string, like in front of the actor. But there's so much controversy about that because critics argue that you shouldn't need a prop. He's hallucinating it. It just takes away that. It just spoils it basically. It's an imaginary dagger, yeah, but theatres will choose to actually suspend the dagger. I don't really think it matters because it's theatre, but basically some people get super heated about it. Basically it's very haunted and it goes bedtime in the daytime, so they would do plays in the sunshine. Is that another reason? Because they were scared of the ghosties? Well, they did believe in like ghosts and spirits and stuff back then, so I can believe that. That's cute though. To this day, I think the Globe Theatre is still in daylight, right? I don't think it tends to be during the day. They still do plays during the day. It's still a thing. It's still open. Hopefully if I go down to London again, I'll get a chance to go. Oh my god, I'm going down this month. Is it open? Does anyone know? I love a ghost day. I saw Macbeth and they didn't have 3 witches, just 1 and 2 mirrors. Was a good laugh. That's actually really funny. That sounds good. Curfews in London, so it was hard to put plays on in the evening because city gates would be closed. Makes it. Are there a lot of Shakespeare fans in the chat? This is cute. Right. Anyway, what else? So actors in those days, Elizabethan era, were played by a man. So you'll notice that I've spoke a lot about feminism throughout this, obviously because if I'm female and I'm reading Shakespeare or performing Shakespeare, I need to know about it. But back in those days, the same with the Greeks and the Roman times, but even back in the Elizabethan, Jacobean era, women were not allowed to be on stage because it was considered dangerous. Well, they say dangerous. I really just think it was because men just want to protect the gender hierarchy or whatever, because men... just, you stay at home, you birth me child, you don't do anything, it's just selfish. But men played male characters as well as female characters. So as you'll see in the play that we talk about, Viola from the Twelfth Night, which I'm going to perform, she disguised herself as a man, but in those days in the actual theatre, it would be a man playing a woman, playing Viola, and Viola playing a man. So a man playing a woman playing a man. And then it goes back to a woman, because that's what happens in the play. Anyway, it was all male actors. The Greeks believed that allowing women to perform publicly would be too dangerous and that having men portray them neutralised the danger. Women were acting elsewhere in Europe, but they were not allowed to perform in public theatres in England until 1660. So that's quite late. I think, what was the Great Fire of London, 1666? Needless to say, the life of a woman in the Elizabethan era was bleak. Religious fanaticism enforced by law moulded women into form of dutiful wife and mother. Their lives were dull and hard with successive childbirths, making them old before their time and leading to very early deaths. So mortality rate for women was very high. Obviously, childbirth in those days was a very scary thing. We didn't have the right medical... we didn't have the medical advancements we do now. So yeah, women's rights were very limited, as I'm sure most of you were already aware back then. How is everything, by the way? Is the audio okay? Is the background was okay? Am I clipping or anything? Are we good? The Globe Theatre came to a premature end on 29th of June 1613 after, I thought this fact was quite funny, it was obviously tragic, but everything perfect. Globe Theatre came to and end on 29th of June 1613 after a cannon shot set fire to the thatched roof during performance of Henry 5, 6, 7, 8. Within 2 hours, the theatre was burnt to the ground. So I used to, as a lot of you know, I used to work in tourist attraction in London, and I did some acting about the Great Fire of London. And one thing we always tell the public is, the Dirty Birds, thank you for the sub. And one thing that was amazed me about London's history is there were a lot of fires, because in those days they built houses and theatres and everything from thatch, wood, straw, right? And the Great Fire of London happened 1666. They said it was like in a bakery or something. And after it burned down, they built it back up again, and they just used the same materials. So the structure, there was basically just a lot of fire, and they would just keep using thatch and stuff. I don't know to this day. That's actually interesting. Does anyone know if the Globe to this day, I'm assuming that it's got better materials in its structure? Obviously, they're going to want to keep it traditional, and for tourists, they're going to want to keep the thatch roof and stuff and the wood inside, right? But I imagine it's made a lot better. But yeah, London Bridge was also made of the houses, sorry, not the actual bridge structure, but the houses. There used to be houses on London Bridge and stuff. People used to live on the bridge and just live life on the bridge. Were also made of thatch, wood and straw, hence why it burnt down. No, and parts of the bridge too, actually, because it burnt down. Burn London down once, shame on you. Burn London down twice, oh fuck. They built it traditional. Surely they would use like some special coatings and stuff though, right? Everything good? A hot dog exploded. Wait, what? Recently? Right, so I've already told you this fact. Copyright didn't exist in Shakespeare's time, as a result which there was a thriving trade in copied plays. To help counter this, actors got their lines once only when the play, or did I write that? Only once when the play was in progress, often in the form of cue acting, where someone backstage whispered them to the person shortly before he was supposed to deliver them. So like we call today kind of prompting, where today, usually if you're doing a play, the director or the prompter will sit in the front and they'll like prompt your lines if you can't remember them. Because they didn't have a lot of time to learn the lines, someone was saying them backstage. Ah, is that a dagger which I see before me? Thy hand. It wasn't obviously like that. You'd be shite, you'd be fired if you did it like that. They did it so often that it became, you know, you couldn't really tell. But that was just how they avoided copyright. Hot dogs back in 1666. What else? An outbreak of the plague. So yeah, I was wondering this actually. So Shakespeare, as you know, wrote how many plays, guys? Question, how many plays did Shakespeare write? Quiz time. Because he wrote so many plays, he then wrote about 150 sonnets. How many sonnets? He wrote a lot of plays. So he wrote 38 plays, 2 narratives, and like 100 odd sonnets. The reason that it said that he started writing sonnets was because of the plague outbreak in Europe, which resulted in all of London theatres being closed between 1592 and 1594. Shakespeare began to write poetry during the time of 1593, aged 29. So because he couldn't write plays, his plays weren't producing any money, he wrote loads of sonnets, because plague and people were dying and stuff. It was bad times. hello, Mr. Pish. One more less than 1,000. I just realised I've not got chat box on screen. Do you want to be on screen? Oh no, I put these on screen. I'll put you there. Yeah. Will there be a quiz after class? We can talk about stuff. I can make up a quiz in my head if you want. I feel my brain expanding, thanks Toastie. Ruined? Do you know what? I thought you liked being on screen. This video will be going up on YouTube after, if there's anything you want to go back to, or if you're not here for some of it. Can you try doing an American accent? No, why? It's Shakespeare. That's not Shakespeare, was British. He lived in London. What? Americans who also learn Shakespeare you're encouraged to maintain your own accent when you learn Shakespeare. It's just a thing. So Americans, if they're doing Shakespeare, just use their American accent. Same when I'm doing these monologues, I'll use my Scottish accent. There are so many different approaches to modern day acting as Shakespeare. I'm going to talk about that here, so I didn't write anything about that, so I said, I've already told you. There's American style, kind of learn Shakespeare, they kind of get the British style. A lot of actors A lot of actors either draw it in and like try and spend hours and hours learning every single word, translating it. I told you guys my college teacher told me that Shakespearean actors spend 4 hours per line. I think that's a bit excessive, but you can either do it quite melodramatic, or drawn in. Yeah, I'll show you some examples. Do you know that people have tried to perform Shakespeare in Middle English? So there's been so many ways. I mean, you have people perform Shakespeare with like modern, they use Shakespeare text and use like modern settings and scenarios, right? So like Romeo and Juliet, you've got like the modern working class and the modern, I don't know, aristocrats kind of thing, and it's set in like New York City, stuff like that. Or you have, I think there's films that are kind of like Shakespeare films, but they're not using the Shakespeare text, they're using modern text. You can do it vice versa. There's scholarship that the English accent of the Elizabethan era would have sounded more like an American accent. I didn't know that, I've not heard that. That's interesting. Their accent would have been slightly different back then though, because yeah, their accent changes and dialect changes and the way they say words constantly changes. Right. Comedies! Before I do the monologue that I'm going to do today. Comedies, I love your teacher. This is not my teacher. This is not my teacher cosplay. I'm doing a monologue and I needed to look like, it's basically I'm playing a woman playing a man, so she's in a man costume, but I didn't have my guy's costume, so the only shirt I had that buttons up at the top. It's not my teacher cosplay, but I guess it works for this. This is an old shirt. Right, so... Sorry if I just burped in the mic. Can you still hear me okay? I'm not screaming in the mic, am I? So, comedies. Shakespeare comedies were full of fun, irony, dazzling wordplay. They also abound in disguises and mistaken identities, with very convoluted plots that are difficult to follow, with very contrived endings, usually ending in marriages as well, right? Shakespeare comedies, the comedies always had very, very happy endings, and happiness in Shakespeare times was getting married. Wouldn't say that's the same necessarily today, but a lot of marriages, a lot of people falling in love, skipping off happily into the sunset. A lot of themes in his plays, mistaken identity, which when I go into this monologue that I do is about mistaken identity. I put Merchant of Venice. Portia dresses up as Bassano, a lawyer in Merchant of Venice, when she then goes to court and gives her famous speech about the pound of flesh against Shylock, if you know anything about Merchant of Venice. Reason versus emotion, fate and fantastical. It's like Fate, Romeo and Juliet. Idyllic setting, separation and reconciliation. Again, Romeo and Juliet's more like a romantic, to be honest, but it's got a lot of comedic elements. And happy endings. Happy endings are a very, very big thing. Problem plays. So you've got plays like Merchant of Venice that do not neatly fall into the comedy or tragedy genre. These plays include moments of both dark drama and straightforward comedy. So Merchant of Venice got a lot of comedic moments, and it's also got a lot of darkness. Like if you've watched the film, there's some, just some not nice, quite dramatic moments, especially like Shylock's treatment and his stubbornness and his relationships. These plays include moments of both dark drama, straightforward comedy, giving them an overall ambiguous tone. These are often called tragic comedies. All Well That Ends, Measure for Measure, The Merchant of Venice are some examples of those. So not everything, like we said at the very start, Shakespeare wrote complex plays. That's what he was famous for, unlike the Renaissance and those before him, who were very one-dimensional characters and one-dimensional straightforward stories. Shakespeare liked to mix both. So you've not just got the tragedies and the comedies, you've got, and people argue, there's a lot of people arguing that certain plays are comedies, and no, some people argue they're actually very tragic. I know Shakespeare had a ton of rude jokes and stuff. Yeah, there was a lot of innuendos, a lot of euphemisms. He liked that kind of stuff. He thought it was funny. Back in those days, they loved sex jokes as well. They were human back in those days. Right. The 12th Night! In fact, I think it's better with the background music on. So 12th Night's what we're going to talk about. This is what monologue, this is what I'm going to perform. Is there any questions? A Midsummer's Night Dream, so that's that picture here, that's A Midsummer's Night Dream. I've seen Midsummer's Night Dream once, and I didn't get it. This was before I understood what the story was about, and it was like everyone just took LSD in the forest. Very fantastical, very trippy, very over the top. It's about love triangles and like plans, and need to watch it. Humans love a toilet joke. French Middle Ages love jokes about falling in toilets and farting on people. Yeah, so that stuff they all found funny. LSD in the forest, I'm fine with that description. It was very weird. Yeah, fairies and stuff were in it as well. They liked you'll see the difference between Shakespeare tragedies and comedies is he likes using magic, but tragedies tend to be the supernatural, like the demons, the witches, the ghosts. Comedies are the opposite supernatural, so the fairies and the gnomes and the fantasy type magic, right? That is Stephen Fry. You're right. So before I do this monologue, I need to tell you a bit about the play itself. So who knows the Twelfth Night? Does anyone know the Twelfth Night? Does anyone know what I'm going to talk about? If you don't know the Twelfth Night, I'll talk about it. One in the chat if you know the Twelfth Night. One in the chat if you know the Twelfth Night. Yes, please. Never read it. No. Okay. So the Twelfth Night is a Shakespeare comedy. I read this in college. It's been years. So quick summary, right? Because so much happens in this comedy. Like Shakespeare plays are quite long.
And my prime again.
Thank you so much, Will Q. Thank you for the prime. A lot of stuff happens. So to sum it up, the play centres on twins at the start. You get Viola and you get Sebastian, right? They get in a shipwreck and they're separated. Viola then washes up on an island that she doesn't know. She thinks Sebastian's dead. She's kind of scared. She's like, oh crap, because back in those days, women didn't have many rights. You know, it was a scary time to be a woman, basically. So she dresses up as a man called Cesario, and then she goes to work for the Duke Orsino, right? She goes to work for this Duke called Orsino, and she falls in love with him. But get this, Orsino is already in love with a countess called Olivia. So Orsino gets Cesario, who's Viola dressed up, to go to Olivia's gaff and be like, my master's in love with you. Olivia doesn't love Orsino, so she's like, get to fuck. But when she meets Cesario, who is Viola dressed up, she's like, oh my god, but you're pure stunning, I love you. And this is where the monologue takes place. So when Viola leaves Olivia's gaff to go tell Orsino that she doesn't love you, mate, I'm sorry. She then discovers, because a messenger runs after her and gives her a ring, and it was actually the reason the messenger gives her a ring, because Olivia needs to find a reason to bring the servant back to her, because she doesn't care about Orsino, but she loves Cesario. So she gives her a ring, pretending that, oh, you left this, thinking the servant will come back and give it to me. And then Viola discovers, holy shit, she's in love with me. But that's a major problem, because she's in love with me, but I'm actually a woman disguised as a man, and I'm actually in love with my own master, but my master's in love with you. So it's an awkward love triangle. Did that make sense? Sorry, I tried my best. It's really hard to explain. But it's basically an awkward love triangle where you've got Orsino in love with Olivia. Olivia is in love with Orsino's servant, who is actually Viola dressed up as, she calls herself Cesario. That's her name. This has always been one of my favourite Shakespeare plays. So it's all about disguise and trickery. I'm going to quickly talk about outside of the triangle, because like I said, a lot of things happen in Shakespeare plays, a lot of complexities, there's usually little minor stories with minor characters. So Olivia, who is in love with Cesario, has a servant called Malvolio. Oh, wrong pointing. Malvolio, played by Stephen Fry in this picture. He's also here. Malvolio, right? And he's known as a snobby kind of prick, basically. Fun, spoiling, pompous, and humorless man, right? He's just somebody you just wouldn't want at your party, or to sit beside in like class or something, right? You're just one of those people who just got not nice energy. But he thinks he's hot shit, right? He's very snobby. He is so in love with Olivia. So really the story, you could say, it's a love triangle because they all love each other, and then you've got like a kind of extended awkward leg of Malvolio, who's just in love with Olivia, right? And Olivia only has to deal with this. Olivia obviously doesn't love him back, but you know, he's her servant, so she's nice to him, whatever. Malvolio lives in Olivia's house, and he's basically like a rando from Recess. So the other people that live in the house, like Maria, Sir Toby and all that, and Sir Andrew, they get mad with it, they get drunk, and Malvolio's like, I'm going to tell on you to Olivia, like, you're going to get in loads of trouble, ha 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 hee hee. And they're like, well, fuck you, Malvolio, do you know what? They get their own back. So they forge letters to Malvolio from Olivia, pretending to be Olivia, expressing Olivia's love for Malvolio. So Malvolio reads these letters and he's like, oh my god, she's in love with me, oh my god. And then at the end of the play, when everything ties love triangle becomes undone, basically Viola's brother comes back from the shipwreck, and Olivia then falls in love with the brother, and then it's all happy as Larry, they're all getting married, everyone's got a partner, they're all skipping, they're like happy days. Malvolio finds out he's been tricked. Actually, Olivia doesn't fancy him, and he's basically rage caging, and he like threatens, I think he like, what does he threaten to do? He storms off stage vowing to get revenge again. So the very end of the play, he's a pure grass bag, but the very end of the play, when everything falls into place, the brother comes back, and basically the brother just comes back for the shipwreck, and then everybody's just happy as Larry. They go, actually, no, I fancy you, or you fancy me, cool, I'll fancy you back then. Malvolio doesn't get a partner, he's rage caging, and he runs off stage. Basically, it's weird because his ending complicates what's otherwise supposed to be a joyful conclusion, and also you could say the dangers of ambition. So Malvolio had an ambition to basically win Olivia's love, and Shakespeare has a habit of kind of punishing those, like in Macbeth, which we'll talk about. But yeah, basically, what up, Toast? Hello, Richard. So basically, like I said, the comedy isn't just straight up comedy, like Shakespeare likes to put little things in like that. Malvolio, Malvolio's like one of those characters that, you know, is kind of just put in the play for everyone to hate and kind of make fun of, and he's also kind of a raging word that I cannot say because I will get banned. You cannot say that word, but yes, good description. So that's kind of the summary of 12th Night. Did you get that okay? Did you get that okay? Did that make sense? Did that make sense? Did that make sense? Spoilers, no, I need to tell you the end. Incel region, right. So, I put in someone playing Malvolio just to see what a bit. This is Sean Davey, I think. Just to see what a prick he is. Hold on. This is from the movie The 12th Night with Helena Bohem. Why can't I make this bigger? Sorry, I can't make it bigger, but so there you go. He's basically, you know, none's gonna become between me. Like he's basically telling himself that she loves me, just like blinded by the fact that people have the right to love who they want, and he's just very eccentric. So this is the Global Summer, great play full of brilliant gender fuckery. Helena Bohem Carter. Yeah. So it's that's kind of the gist of a lot of Shakespeare's comedies. A lot of disguises, a lot of like playing different roles, different classes, different like people swapping about different genders, different people getting mixed up and confused. It's just all confusion, right? That's how a lot of it is based on a big confuddle. And then at the end, things just fall into place, whether it's fate, usually just fate, usually something happens and it's like, yes, the good guys win, they get married, happy days, and the wee guys get shat on or run away raging. Right. No! I wasn't supposed to change my costume here. Wait a minute. Yeah, I was. I thought I had this. Okay, I'll do my hang. I'll do my monologue for 12th Night. I wasn't supposed to change the I'm sure there was a slide here about Viola, but it's fine, right? So Viola, how do I get this up? Viola, where are we? Are you all still here? Do you get it? Sorry, do you get what I was saying about Twelfth Night? Right, Shakespeare Green. If you don't, just feel free to ask. Right, I need to do image display capture. I'm gonna put background on. Basically what happens in this monologue is Viola is walking back. Viola is walking back after, sorry, the Duke Orsino. Right, shut up, music. I can't take this. The Duke Orsino sends Viola to Olivia's gaff as Viola is dressed as Cesario. Cesario says to Olivia, "My master's in love with you." Olivia's like, "Well, I'm not in love with him. Goodbye." But Olivia actually falls in love with Cesario. She's like, "I'm not in love with him, but actually, you're quite fit. I'm in love with you." So as Cesario's leaving, she's walking back. She's walking through the forest. She's walking back. This is why I got a forest background. She's walking back to Orsino's gaff. As she's walking back, Olivia comes up with a plan to send her to send her servant, to send Malvolio, the guy that we just spoke about, to send Malvolio after her and give her a ring. Just pretend to give her a ring. Ring, sellotape. Pretend to give. I had a ring. I think I had a ring, but I don't know what it is. Okay, we'll use sellotape to give her a ring, and and Malvolio is quite blunt, right? Because Malvolio throughout this play is very angry. He's very kind of bitter guy, right? Because Olivia doesn't love him back. So he kind of just throws the ring on the ground at her. Like, "Here, you left this ring, by the way. Like, kind of stay to you, and you've made me go out my way to come after you. So here's that ring." And he just throws it at the ground and then he runs off. Meanwhile, Viola is just like, "What? I didn't leave a ring. What?" And then she picks it up off the ground. And then she says this soliloquy. Soliloquy is what they call a monologue that is said to the audience. So for this monologue, she kind of breaks the fourth wall and she says it kind of to the audience. Or she not breaks the fourth wall, I should say, sorry. She lets the audience know what she's thinking. She's basically thinking aloud. That's a soliloquy. Thinking out loud. Usually when actors do soliloquies, they come at the front of the stage and they express their train of thought, right? So what's going on inside their head, they say it. So the audience know what they're thinking. Viola being the kind of main character of the Twelfth Night and she's a very notable character. She's kind of the smartest character in the play, the most intelligent. She's kind of like Jim from The Office. This soliloquy is kind of what it reminds me of, when Jim looks at the camera a lot and's like, and you just get that idea of what Jim's thinking. It's kind of what Viola is like. She's kind of like looking at the audience and she's like, "I never left a ring, like what the fuck?" And then she realises, as she goes through the monologue, she realises what's happening, right? The reason I'm explaining to you this now, because it's obviously in Shakespeare, so it's hard to get if you don't know it, but she looks at this ring and she's like, "Oh my god, Olivia's in love with me. Oh god, this is actually..." And then as the monologue goes on, she realises, shit, this is a big issue. Because this is I don't know what to do, because I actually am in love with my master. And she's in love with me, but I'm not who she thinks I am. So, kind of like that, right? This is a great idea for a stream. Thank you. Hello, Source of the Squall. Hi, anyone. I'll put the lights down a bit because I realised it's like super bright. Da, 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 da. Is that still super bright or is that okay? Where are you at? I'm in the forest. I'm going back to my master's gaff. Can you still hear me? Okay if I put it? I'm going back to my master's gaff to tell them that Olivia doesn't like him. Can you hear me? I'm going to do it. Any more questions before I start? Okay. I'm going to hide chat in case I start laughing. Could you maybe use the word "would like to bang" instead of "in love" to make it sound more edgy? Well, yeah, they probably would. They were super horny in those days, right? Like, That's what they think about a lot. Like, they didn't have the internet, they didn't have Sudoku back then to, like, they spent a lot of time.
Evergreen tree, evergreen tree, evergreen tree.
Thank you for the 100 bits. I should probably mute the alerts, right? Wait, what art scene is it so we can follow along? Oh, fuck. It's okay, so I haven't put the words on screen. But if you want to follow along, it's just type in Viola's monologue on Google. Viola 12th night monologue, and it'll be like the first one that comes up. It will tell you the scene right away. I just think, I see on my screen, I just look super washed out. Is it washed out, guys? It is a bit. Look at this. Still looks washed out. I've got the 2 lights on, but they're at the lowest now. That's mad. Thank you for the follow. Right, so I'm walking back to I'm walking back to my master's gaff, tell him the news, and Malvelo, what's his bloody name? I forgot. The guy that's the angry servant comes, throws me the ring, and is like, here, you left this ring. Don't you come back, like, don't you come back with that. Melon Velociraptor. Supposed to look fab. And I'm dressed in this shirt. And Viola's actually dressed as a guy. In a men's, what an outfit a man would wear back in those days, right? Like, I'm using, obviously it's different today, thank God, but I'm using what it was like back then. So she would be dressed as a servant with a hat. They wore hats, typically, the guys that were servants. Right. She throws the ring. I left no ring with her. What means this, lady? I'm actually going to take my headset off because I can hear myself. Hold on. I'm going to take my headset off. Right, I'll go again. I'm going again. I just realised it looks stupid. I can hear myself back and it's hurting my ears. In case I scream, right. Right. I left no ring with her. What means this, lady? Fortune forbid my outside had not charmed her. She made good view of me, indeed so much that, sure, methought her eyes had lost her tongue, for she did speak and starts distractedly. She loves me. Sure! The cunning of her passion invites in this churlish messenger. None of my lord's ring. Why, he sent her none. I am the man. And if it be so as 'tis, poor lady should better love a dream. Disguise, I say thou art a wickedness, wherein the pregnant enemy does much. How easy it is for the proper false within a woman's waxen hearts to set their forms. Alas, our frailty is the cause, not we. For such a we as me are made of, such we be. Oh, this fage. My master loves her dearly, and I, poor monster, fond as much in him, and she, mistaken, seems to dote on me. What will become of this? As I am man, my state is desperate for my master's love. But as I am woman, never last the day. What thriftless shies will poor Olivia breathe? hard a knot for me to untie. There you go. So that one was a screaming into the mic. Was a screaming? Action, alas. So I fucked it up. I fucked it up a few bits, but basically, what she's saying is she finds the ring, and she's like if she finds the ring, and she's like, wait a minute, confused, and then she's like, haha, no, she loves me, oh my god. And then she realizes, and then she blames her disguise is either a wickedness, so she's blaming the way she looks, basically, wherein a woman's wax and heart set their form. So woman's wax and heart means, is basically talking about the frailty of a woman's heart. It's wax, it's soft like wax, like it's soft like gel, meaning that women are vulnerable and sensitive and all that's a wee sin. And she's blaming the way she looks. The pregnant enemy means devil, wherein the pregnant enemy does much how easy it is for the proper false. The proper false is basically charming, charismatic, evil people, right? So like anyone who's charming, charismatic, most politicians who are deceitful. And she's like, oh, that's a wee shame, like women, we can't really blame us. Can you really blame us? Because we're just made that way. So she's blaming the way she looks and feeling bad because she's like, oh my god, Olivia is in love with me, and that's super awkward. And it's super awkward. And hi, Dirty Book. It's super awkward because I'm not who she thinks I am, but I can't really blame her because that's how we sin. We're like that. I'm a woman. I know what it's like. And yeah, does that make sense? I felt like I was in the Globe. Thanks. It's really weird. It's really weird doing it in here. Which play has the characters cross-dressing as opposed to just the actors in the original performance? Wait, what do you mean cross-dressing? So in this, it's only Viola. It's only the main character who dresses as a guy and then works for the Duke. So this is obviously professional actors doing it, for anyone that doesn't mean. And I said to you guys I would show you the differences and just how different monologues and stuff is interpreted. So this is Judi Dench doing it.
Fortune forbid.
She does it very slowly.
My outside have not charmed her. She made good view of me.
Very
Indeed,
serious.
so much that sure methought her eyes had lost her tongue, for she did speak in starts, distractedly.
She's like, oh my god. Very slow, very... Judi Dench was a Shakespeare actress. She was a massive theatre actress before she went into movies.
He loves me, sure.
For decades.
The cunning of her passion invites me, and this churlish messenger, none of my lord's ring, why, he sent her none.
So she's more kind of like
I am the man. If it be so as 'tis, poor lady, she were better love a dream.
She's like, she's really sincere, right? She does a sincere approach. She's like, oh no, I am the man, oh no. Like, very, very genuine, right? And then Anita Joy, Anita Joy Uwaji.
What means this lady?
Right, so I'll try and show you the bit. So this is when she realizes. So this is just comparing the two reactions, right?
Methought her eyes had lost their tongue. For she did speak in starts distractedly. Oh, she loves me!
See, very, very different.
Sure! The cunning of her passion invites me! In this churlish messenger!
Quite raging about it, actually.
None of my lord's ring? Why? He sent her none. I am the man. If it be so as 'tis, poor lady, she would better love a dream. Disguise, I see thou art a wickedness, wherein the pregnant enemy does much.
So she's taking her disguise off because she's like, I hate you, you're evil. So do you get what I'm saying? Right. Tragedy. Is like how delivery can mean much. Yeah, so people, you can interpret it like different ways. Right. Costume change. I'll be back in a sec. Ta-da! Hello. Wait. Hi. Very fancy. I've always wanted one of these costumes. Right. So we're gonna go into the better bit. The tragedy. That's my favourite bit. That's nice. Is it silk? Yeah, it's golden goat silk. Right. Let's move this a bit. Okay. I'm going to be fiddling with the camera. Like it, look, it's got puffy bits. It's got the puffy bits to the side. I can feel it. Right. Hello, I'm Queen Margaret of Anjou. Did I put the music off? I'm Queen Margaret of Anjou. Queen Margaret from Henry the Sixth that we'll talk about. Good evening, Toastie. Good evening, Big Aldo. Right. So, showed you Judi Dench. Tragedy. If we get any questions and stuff before we start, if we get any questions, it came with a hat, but I didn't want to put a hat on because it looked stupid. It came with like a wee thing, but I was like, I'm not doing an angry queen monologue with a stupid wee shows the hat. Do you want to see the hat? Well, I'll show you the hat. I'm not wearing it though. I'm not wearing the hat. I'm not wearing the hat. Hold on. Hold on. How the 2-6. I'm not wearing the hat. I'm not wearing the hat. What was like that? Not funny. Shut up! It's not letting me put it up. But thou must. No! I'm not wearing the hat. It looks stupid. I don't get what it's supposed to be. It's bent as well. I'll wear it to talk about tragedy, but I'm taking it off if I'm doing the monologue, okay? Forgot this up at the back. Hi, Acton Alan, thank you for the follow. Right. How many gifted to keep the hat? 5, and I'll put the hat on for the slideshow. Although I'm not doing it for the angry monologue because it will just ruin the immersion. Right. Chat over like fuck it, fine. Right, we're here now. We're doing a Shakespeare stream with a Shakespeare PowerPoint. Like, we may as well just go the full way, right? Right, tragedy. Some examples of classic tragedy include Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, and Antigone. Now, thank you so much, Chimmonk, for the 5 gifted subs. I really appreciate it. CJ Mac, also thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I will wear the hat for the rest of the slideshow. Okay. So some examples of classic tragedies: Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, and Antigone. Now, Antigone was written by Sophocles in 441 BC, but I just included it there because I didn't want to just include Shakespeare tragedies, right? Because tragedy is the tragedy, and Antigone, if you don't know, Antigone is about the story of a young girl whose brothers both fight in opposing wars. One fights on his dad's side, the other on the other, but both of them die, and one of the brothers dies, and Antigone wants to bury them, but because that brother fought on the opposing side of the dad's like, no, you can't bury him. And basically he's just very stubborn, doesn't let Antigone bury her brother, so she does it anyway, and then he like locks her in like a tomb or something, and then she dies, and then because she dies, his son, who she was not his son, because that would make it incest, although a lot of incest happened in those days. Or Oedipus, who married his mum. That was a tragedy. Oedipus, I was in that. Anyway, sorry, Antigone. her lover dies. Sorry, no. So the king, the dad's wife's son is in love with Antigone. Because she dies, he kills himself. Because he kills himself, the mum, the wife, kills himself. And then basically the king at the end is just left alone by himself. And it's a tragedy, right? Some argue that, I mean, he got what was coming to him, but I mean, he was a dick, right? But it doesn't warrant everyone around him dying. That's really tragic. So that's Antigone. No spoilers. I'm trying to be as summarising as I possibly can. Thank you so much, Silent Thistle. Thank you for the 30 quid. You look utterly fab in that outfit, you mad Raj. I've not got the headphones on because I can't fit them on with the thing, so I can't hear TTS, but you can, right? Don't worry about the hat. Tuesdays are hat days. It's not Tuesday today, is it? Drunk Irish Steve, thank you for the 5 gifted subs as well. I didn't catch that. Thank you. Right. So thank you. I really appreciate it, guys. So that's Tragedies, right? Romeo and Juliet, obviously, you know the story of Romeo and Juliet. It's probably Shakespeare's most I would argue it's Shakespeare's most famous play, actually. Everyone knows the story, especially it's got a good film with Leonardo DiCaprio in it. Macbeth. So I'll talk about Macbeth because Macbeth is what I did for higher English, and I know the most about Macbeth. And Macbeth is also a very famous play. I think there's a film adaptation with Fassbender playing Macbeth. Some argue, right? So if you don't know the story of Macbeth, I'll quickly summarise it because I don't think I wrote it in here. Macbeth, right, is a bloke. And he's fighting on the battlefield, and at the side of the battlefield he goes off and he meets 3 witches. Now these 3 witches, he's a good bloke, sorry, I should start and say Macbeth, notable, everybody likes him, he gets on with everybody, smart guy, nice guy. Typically that's how tragedies start, right? They have like a main character who everybody loves, just a stand-up bloke, right? Macbeth's cool. He meets 3 witches who are pictured here. 3 witches at the side. He meets 3 witches, and these 3 witches tell him, in this double toil and trouble in this cauldron, we can see your fate, and this fate is telling us that you're gonna be king one day, right? You're gonna rule. So what happens after the battle is then something happens, and what's his name? Sir Duncan, who's like the king. One of the guys below him fucks up, he gets axed, he gets fired, and Macbeth takes his place. And Macbeth's like, oh my god, like it's starting to happen, this prophecy that these witches told me, I'm gonna like eventually get higher and higher in the hierarchy, and I'm gonna one day become ruler. It's starting to become true, right? But then what happens is Macbeth writes to his wife, right, who we'll talk about in a bit more, right? Macbeth writes to his wife and tells her about the prophecy that the witches told him, and also how he's moving up on the ladder, and Lady Macbeth is like, you have to be king, you have to kill Duncan, you have to kill the king, because if you kill the king, that makes you the king, and that makes you indirect, you know, you're next in line, so kill him, stab him in his sleep. Now, remember I was telling you at the start of the stream about these manipulative characters that tend to be in tragedies a lot? Lady Macbeth, highly manipulative. I think she's cool, right? Because one thing in Shakespeare plays is there was hardly any women parts. It was mostly men. It was not only men actors, right? That's different. It was all men actors in those days. But Shakespeare didn't have a lot of good parts for women, especially women that weren't just your typical, like, kind of stereotype. Not that there's anything wrong with that, right? But women who had a lot of different attributes from being the stereotypical kind of soft, feminine, there to play the love interest, right? So Lady Macbeth was basically... And we'll talk a lot about like these kind of like roles she played in a sec. But she manipulates Macbeth and she emasculates him, and she's basically like, some of the quotes that are said, what is it? She says, was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Has it slept since? Right? So she says all these, which basically means like, stay to you, grow a set, kill the king, and chat's gone mad right now, so he's okay. Kill the king, and then you be king, right? And then we'll be cool. Me and you will rule, right? So she pressurizes him by emasculating him and manipulating him into killing the king. Macbeth then sees a dagger floating in front of him. Again, tragedies, like I told you. A lot of them contain supernatural elements with witches, ghosts, demons, hallucinations, like evil stuff like that. In direct contrast to your comedies, which have got fairies and fantastical stuff. So do something funny, please. I'm talking about Shakespeare. It's a tragedy. It's a tragic conversation. Listen. So Macbeth kills Duncan. This is supposed to be a quick synopsis. Macbeth kills Duncan after he sees the dagger, stabs him in his sleep. and then he's on the way to be king. And then after that, a lot happens, right? But he gets thirsty. So what you could say, like a guy getting drunk, is he gets a taste for blood and then he just keeps drinking. And he just, kind of like a shark when they taste blood and their eyes go dilated, their pupils dilate, and they just kind of go mad. So he starts hallucinating, because he's overridden with guilt as well, right? So Macbeth hallucinates a lot, he sees ghosts, he sees, you know, he basically descends into madness. Lady Macbeth can't handle the guilt. She goes completely mad and then kills herself. Big Macbeth, he then kills his mate. He kills any families that he deems that are threatening his position to become king. And the more you kill, it becomes like a hobby to him. No, it becomes easier, right? So he keeps killing people, he keeps stabbing people. And then ultimately, after he's like killed everybody, what's his name? Somebody finds out, one of his pals finds out, Macduff. A bloke called Macduff finds out that he's going about stabbing everyone. He's not who he used to be. He's no longer this top stand-up guy who everybody liked. He's actually a cold-blooded killer who got too big for his boots. So Macduff kills him. And that's the end of Macbeth. And it's tragic because they say it's tragic because some argue, I'm going back to the page now, some argue that Macbeth was a tragic hero and that his fatal flaw was ambition. So I remember writing about that a lot for my higher English, and that ambition was the downfall of Macbeth. He got a taste for glory, he got a taste of, I don't know, kind of like getting big on Twitch. Remember I told you, like, and then having to like do all these horrible acts to keep your view count up, kind of like that, and it's a tragic play, right? But again, I told you at the start, there's a lot of arguments in Shakespeare, a lot of contradictions, a lot of people contradicting each other, a lot of people have been like, no, actually I don't agree. Some people say he's not a tragic hero. You see, use hero, right? They use hero, he's like, he started off as a hero, he's the main character of the play, but others say he's not tragic because he was responsible for his own actions and he killed his pals and he kind of got what was coming to him, right? Because he was a dick, but the point of the play was he's supposed to be liked, you were kind of supposed to feel sorry for him, that was the kind of tragic. And again, that's why Shakespeare plays are complex. 54,000 seconds, that's a lot of seconds. Now I want to watch a play with Ian McKellen and Judi Dench. Did they do Macbeth? Paradox himself. Yes, there's a lot of paradoxes in that. A lot of self-fulfilling prophecies. You know, the witches told them this would happen. And rather than just waiting for it to happen, like a normal prophecy, Macbeth went and did the action and then got what was coming to him. He died. More is never enough. Yeah, couldn't just be happy with getting a little bit of a upgrade, a promotion. You had to go for the top. Anyway, so Shakespeare's tragedies include tragic hero, dichotomy of good and evil, tragic waste, Harmatia, the hero's tragic flaw, which is ambition, what I just spoke about, issues of fate and fortune, greed, full revenge, supernatural element, which I spoke about a lot, internal and external pressures, and the paradox of life. So those are typical themes for Shakespeare's tragedies. Filth. Macbeth is a bit of an allegory for chasing fame in social media. Man, it's his thesis paper if I've ever heard of none. True, exactly. And again, that backs what I said at the very start. What we were discussing was the reason Shakespeare's so popular is he writes his stories, and the things that he writes and his narratives resemble real life, right? Resemble, like you said, if it's modernized, Macbeth could be attributed to chasing fame, money, social media, backstabbing, you know, your peers and people you work with, and just becoming really cold and losing all sense of humanity, really, the further you climb up the ladder. Beefed up after grief of Lady M. I can see you being a lecturer in college or something. Toastie used to tip. In fact, do you think I should wear this hat? Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay, so Lady Macbeth, I want to talk about Lady Macbeth because she's cool. Again, there wasn't many female Shakespeare characters. So Lady Macbeth, well, she's not cool, she's kind of a dick, but Lady Macbeth resists gender roles insofar insulting. Now, I'm talking about back in the day, right? Because again, Shakespeare Shakespeare, like, everything played a lot with gender roles and expectations and emasculating characters emasculating each other to manipulate them, making fun of their genders to pressurise them, which we'll talk about later in the War of Roses. So he used it a lot, right, as characterisation. So Lady Macbeth resists gender roles insofar as insulting her husband, emasculating him and using hypothetical violence. However, this is also to inspire him to reach the position they feel he deserves, but she does not stray so far to commit murder herself. So she basically, Lady Macbeth pressurises Macbeth into doing it, and then Macbeth does it, and you know, she's kind of like, oh shit, that was me. And then she can't handle, she also starts hallucinating and seeing stuff, and then she kills herself. Some quotes that are notable from her. When you do durst do it, then you were a man, and to be more than what you are, you would be so much more the man. So basically saying, do it and become a man. If you don't do it, if you do it, you actually become a man in my eyes. If you don't, then you've got no balls and fuck you. So again, to this day, obviously in this day we wouldn't agree with that. Like, you know, this day, thank God, people that are emotional or have sensitive sides, feminine qualities aren't, you know, in each sex is a good thing. But back in those days, Shakespeare used it a lot to progress characters' motivations. Like if they felt like their masculine qualities were threatened by other characters pressuring them, that would progress them to do something. Which is why Macbeth went and stabbed fuck out of King Duncan in his sleep, because his wife was making fun of him. Was the hope drunk when you dressed yourself? That's one of the most famous quotes of Lady Macbeth trying to emasculate Macbeth. Lady Macbeth to herself. So Lady Macbeth did not only emasculate Macbeth, but she asked herself. So she has a famous quote: "Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe top full of direst cruelty." So that's her basically asking these demons and supernatural beings to unsex her so she can get rid of all her feminine qualities and instead take upon the masculine qualities that were seen in those times as being ruthless and violent and strong and right? So she talks about that, and then I think the play is supposed to say that never happened because she ended up feeling really guilty or whatever. Lady Macbeth has some great lines, especially as she goes mad. Yeah, so Lady Macbeth has some of the best quotes. I mean, I think Macbeth has some of the best quotes in Shakespeare. What did Lady Macbeth speak? Did Lady Macbeth speak in iambic pentameter? Iambic pentameter was just used in Shakespeare sonnets in the plays sometimes for some quotes, but not all of them. No, because otherwise it would read like a poem. What do you think? Any questions? This is bringing back memories. Is the audio and stuff okay? Is everything all right so far? What do you think? Audio sound. Sick, thanks. Right. Camera's moving by itself. So, did Toastie put this entire slideshow together? Yes, I did. It was a lot shorter, but I can't do things in short fashion. So that's a kind of synopsis of the relationship between Macbeth and their own struggles. Quick synopsis. I probably should have said this first. I am sorry that I didn't say this first. For those who are not familiar with Macbeth, I did say it myself, but again, 3 witches predict great things for Macbeth. Lady Macbeth persuades Macbeth to kill the King Duncan to get the throne. Macbeth kills Duncan and becomes King of Scotland. Macbeth has his best friend Banquo murdered. Macbeth begins to think that he's invincible. Lady Macbeth commits suicide. There is a battle and Macduff decapitates Macbeth. Now there's something interesting I remember in the death of Macbeth. Is Macbeth a feminine man? I don't get it. No, he's just a man, like, as in, but in those days you would expect it, right? It was the gender norms that pressurised you and how to act in society, and that like I said, if you were deemed as sensitive, you were deemed as not wanting to murder someone in Lady Macbeth eyes, then that made you weak, right? Which is bullshit, but that's how he was pressured, right? He was his manhood was put at risk. Toxic masculinity. So there is Macduff decapitates Macbeth. I remember something in he's decapitated, something about C-section Macbeth. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? But I can't remember it. I didn't write it in. But he's decapitated in a weird way. But anyway, he dies. It fulfills the prophecy. McHamish. Who's McHamish? Love the outfit, Toastie. Thank you. Yeah. So. Macbeth is an interesting character because he's very masculine, but he's also something good to his wife. I think, well, that's supposed to be the thing, right? It's supposed to be, Macbeth is supposed to start out very likeable. He's supposed to be a nice guy. Everybody likes him. He's not got a single flaw. And then when he meets the witches, it's like he gets diagnosed, like, as in, what's it called? Like a drip of a flaw, which is ambition. So you imagine dripping a droplet into a bucket, right? It drips in and then it just spreads on the surface. And that's kind of like a drop of ambition, and then it slowly spreads and takes over him. How well doing? Good, Shazam. How are you? Thank you for follows. I really appreciate it. Also, Belmont, thank you for the tier 1. Thank you for the 8 months. I really appreciate it. Hamlet was Breaking Bad. I haven't seen the end of Breaking Bad, don't spoil it. I'm keeping in to rewatch it. Macbeth. I didn't know Macbeth had headphones. Could we get additional reading on that? Macbeth thought no woman of born could kill him. The witches told him so, so Macduff was born via C-section, so he was technically birthed from a woman. Yes, that was it. I just remember writing in an essay when I was 15 something about C-section, but I think there was something like that. Right. So that's the synopsis of Macbeth. So, one of the most famous quotes from all of Shakespeare, actually, everyone knows this quote. It's from Macbeth. I will say it. Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward thy hand? It says handle toward my hand. I thought it was thy hand, but maybe. Is this a dagger which I see before me, the handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. So, before Macbeth kills Duncan, you know, after he spoke to Lady Macbeth's like, kill Duncan, do it, or you have no boss. Just not being nice. She pressurizes him. He then, at night, he hallucinates a dagger in front of him. It's not real. It's not there. Again, mind me. These are pictures from stage plays. Some plays, as you can see, chose to suspend the dagger in front of him. It's a tangible dagger. Some didn't. I don't think Patrick Stewart. I'll show you a clip. We'll watch Patrick Stewart doing this scene actually in a second. It's really good. He's great. No! My cinnamon fireballs! No! How did that fall? They were right there. I have red hots. And they just went everywhere. Like they're actually all over the floor. No! The greatest tragedy! That's so annoying. I have them sometimes. Like I have like one or a couple per stream and it helps my motion sickness. Because I've noticed if I taste things, if I'm feeling a bit sick, it just, I don't know why, it like levels it. There's still a lot left, but okay, that's annoying. Is this the red hot that I see before me? Oh no, I've got the script. No. Oh crap, the green screens went off again. Did I move that? Was that like that the whole time? Hold on. Oh, it's because of the camera moved as well. There you go. Right, no. Okay. Alas, poor balls. Right. Okay, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. Anyway, sorry. As I was saying before my balls dropped on the floor, as I was saying, is okay? Is everything fine? As I was saying, the dagger. Okay, so the dagger Yeah, so some have the dagger in midair, some don't. He's seen this dagger before he kills Duncan. The dagger, when he sees it floating, he goes to clutch it, and he realises it's pointing towards Duncan's room, where Duncan is asleep. And it's this hallucination that is pivotal, is a pivotal point in the play, because it's basically the kind of deciding factor in, he sees a dagger, it's pointing to Duncan's room, okay, Duncan's getting chibbed. He's getting stabbed, I'm gonna do it. And then he stabs Duncan in his sleep. So that's what, and the hallucination is kind of depicting as well that he's hallucinating, he is going mad, he is making decisions, right, that are like not normal for him. He's making decisions that aren't, he's not really thinking straight. This is this poison drop of ambition that's making him do this. Jizz, as I was saying before my balls dropped on the floor, is that all you took away from that? Is there any more? Did you take anything else? Is there any more questions? Chat. You get it? Right, do you want to watch thingy? This is cool. Right, I like this. Do you want to watch who emoji, poop emoji actor? Right, watch this. I'll get out of the way, don't worry. Can you hear it okay? It's a bit quiet.
Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand. Come. Let me clutch thee. I have thee not. And yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision sensible to feeling, as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? I see thee yet. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood that was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now, o'er the one-half world, nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtain's sleep. Now witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf, whose howls his watch, thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing stride towards his design, moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabouts, and take the present horror from the time.
Right. But basically, there you go. So he's super good. So did you see that? So that was, I thought that was stage for some reason, but it's TV. He did it on TV as a movie. Macbeth, and at the start he sees the dagger, starts to grasp it, and you can see there's blood as well. He doesn't just hallucinate a dagger, sorry for burping. He hallucinates blood on his hands. So does Lady Macbeth, actually. And that's just them hallucinating and descent into madness as they're doing this in like this task. They're killing. You know, he loved Duncan. He was pals with Duncan. Duncan's his king. Duncan's a great king. Duncan again, good guy. Everybody likes Duncan, and he's killing him because he's poisoned with ambition and he wants to be king. Stuart. So, Toastie, what do we need to do to get you to do this monologue, specifically the howling? So again, that's the thing with Shakespeare, is Shakespeare in his monologues likes to put vowels, usually when there's like a bit of like word vowel. Like you've seen in Viola, right? 12 now, oh, time, or poor monster, or hows. Shakespeare actors is a thing where they exaggerate those vowels, especially O vowels. So whenever there's like a how, the actor's supposed to go, oh, or oh, time, thou must untangle this, or poor monster, or who, like it's supposed to be, oh my god, right? That's just a thing. So that's why he did the wee how. So yeah, that's him, that's Patrick Stewart, and that's Macbeth. So that's the tragedy part of the stream. We did the comedy, they did the tragedy. Before we go into the War of Roses, any questions? Anything you want to ask? Professor Xavier? No, it was Patrick Stewart playing Macbeth. Histories, are we going in the historical part? Is there anything you want to talk about or discuss? Are we good? Are we all paying attention?